I'm on a date tonight, so I'll have to just look good. No, I'll just do it in front of her, shouldn't I?
He's kept going. He's scored! Oh, Stockport pressure. And the header into the superb goal. Johnny did it. Lisa! Rose tries to get the ball in. Wilkinson!
It's a 5-star performance from Stockport County.
All right, we got a small house, but we got a big bloody heart, I tell you.
Hello and welcome to the landmark 49th episode of SK3 TV, the Thinking Person Stockport and Stockport County podcast. As long as what the thinking person is thinking is that there can never be too many half-arsed AI jingles and poorly thought through features. Add that in the notes for weeks. Yes, we are here every week, and just because the season's over, even though it's not, but we've still got plenty to talk about, so we'll still be going through for a few weeks yet. With me, Nick, it's Hannah. Hello.
Hi. What, are we getting a summer holiday? I wasn't aware of this.
I have a couple of weeks off, I think. Yeah,
Really?
during the lull. Well, we'll have a couple of weeks off county, I think. And
All
then...
right, yeah, fair. Because we're coming up with quite a beefy list of things to do in Stockport on a Saturday when there's no football.
I'm very excited for my tattoo and my intimate piercing. That's going to be a great day.
I'm excited to play Football Manager. What else was I doing? Feel like there was other stuff. I can't remember. Stockport gin. Right. And I know that I don't drink, but I feel like I could still be good at this because I, drank a lot of gin back in the day. Stockport gin do make your own gin where you get to choose like the different flavors and add them in, and it's really reasonably priced. You get to go away with your own personalized bottle. And you get like 3 gin and tonics while you're making it. And it's only like, I don't know, I think maybe about 130 quid. It wasn't much. In terms of a nice thing to do.
I mean, if people want to know more about that, then they should check out the special episode that I did with Paul of Stockport Gin as part of our Stockport
That sounded
culture
really
segment.
engineered. It wasn't at all.
It wasn't either, no.
I got talking to Paul about the kind of events that they did, and then I went on and had a look at the website. And it was, it just sounded like a properly cool thing to do.
Yeah, but I want to make all the alcohols. I want to make some gin, and then I want to go and make some rum, and I want to make some. I need to get onto some breweries who will let me, not to interview them, just so I can make some beer.
Yeah, you can get those. Maybe that's something that we could do on Saturdays, plural. Those like homebrew kits that you used to get like off of I was going to say the 80s, but no, you wouldn't be able to relate to that. And they came
what you mean, yeah.
A big like brewing bottle and you brewed your own. That could be fun.
We could do that.
We could put blue dye in it. Hashtag paint it blue.
Everything's getting painted blue. I've not done my paint it blue tweet today either. That's
no.
I hope everyone doesn't think we're being sarcastic. It's a good initiative, I suppose.
It's not sarcasm as much as having some fun within the parameters of it. And I still need to. I was going to find the Pantone references for acceptable blues because the faded blue is not appropriate. I feel like there needs to be better guidelines for this.
There's a woman down the road from me who is a staunch Man City fan. She's one of the worst Man City fans because she comes to county. She still comes to county now to help us out.
Oh, so kind of her.
Dog, fuck off. But she's all year round. She's got a Man City flag hanging out of her window. So under the parameter, under the hashtag paint it blue, she's painted it blue. They did not specify.
I've got a hole in my roof. So every time I sit and look at the Bagara stand and see the big Vita thing, and think that that's patching up a number of holes in the main stand. This is my chance. This is how I could paint it blue. I could whack a big blue tarpaulin on my roof in the name of Stockport County.
Yeah. Would you have a Vita one, or would you go retro with the sponsors?
I don't care. If Mark Stott wants to give me a bit of the Vita tarpaulin, I feel that like that would be heavy duty, because at the moment there's a blue towel on my windowsill where it's dripping, so it doesn't annoy me in the night.
I mean, the obvious next step from a blue towel is a blue tarpaulin. There's nothing in between them two, so yeah, that's definitely the next step.
God, I'm so classy.
I was not expecting talk of dripping in the night. Only 6 minutes in. Phil Lloyd said he will help us brew some beer. He's a home brewer.
Well, he didn't say he'd help. He said, I'm a home brewer. There was no invitation involved.
He said, I can help.
Oh, right. Okay. Thanks, Phil.
Can isn't will, is it?
While Phil is here, I made 2 more people try the Cambodia cauliflower on Sunday. Both deemed it a resounding success.
This is your life now, isn't it? Just forcing people to try this amazing cauliflower, to be fair.
It is really good, yes. And who was it yesterday? Cam and Mike tried. Wasn't yesterday, was it? It was Sunday. All the days, it messes with my head, all these bank holidays.
Two more cauliflower converts ticked off.
Yeah.
Well, what we'll do some admin, and then we'll get on to our weekend.
Okay.
So the best thing to do is to do the admin after this noise. What was a noise? This is some admin. We are, of course, sponsored by Blackbird Kitchen on the pans at Gorilla Manchester, and cooking up some delicious classic burgers at Impossible Manchester as well. What else is in the admins, Hannah?
I'm sure the answer is going to be like and subscribe. Is there any other I mean, there's a whole heap of ticket admin and playoff admin, and
I suppose that's not our admin, though, is it? I suppose it doesn't.
Ours.
That's county's admin. That'll fall into the rest.
And surprisingly, unless anyone can tell me to the contrary, that it was fairly drama-free, the away playoff.
Someone will
sales.
It's fine. We've got a good 50 minutes or close to an hour for people to come on and say that it wasn't. That's what I'm holding on for.
Yesterday, I was like, we can talk about the ticket website falling over. I don't know that it did.
It's like that thing when, when something won't work. So my light switch I was having problems with the light switch in my room. I put a new bulb in, and it still kept flickering. So I said, this is when I was a kid. I don't know why I'm still on about it. I said to my dad, I was like, it doesn't work. The light switch doesn't work. And then he came in and did it, and it worked. So now I hate it when it happens, and that's what's happening with the ticketing website now.
Dads are really good at that. Also, IT departments, just generally, and mechanics. Also, anyone that comes to you, like gas, electricians, anyone that comes to your house especially when you've got an intermittent problem.
So all the manly people that I'm not good at speaking at, then mechanics, electricians, and my dad. Just
anyone that comes to fix anything. I don't think their gender's important. They could be.
No, but I'd be more comfortable talking to lady tradesmen, I think.
Tradespeople?
Tradesperson.
Speaking of, I need a tradesperson to fit a electrical vehicle charger. If anyone knows someone or has had one done recently and would like to recommend someone in the South Manchester area, that would be lovely. Cheers, thank you.
I could have a go at it myself, but failing that, I will ask my friend Wayne, who you have met. He is an electrician.
Is he? I did not know that. Right, yeah, send Wayne round.
And he's not far from you because he's Hazel Grove. I don't know if he does electric vehicle things, but I'll ask him. I'll fire a text up.
He'll probably know someone. Yeah. He'll probably know someone, won't he? If not, anyway. But if anyone else would like to recommend someone, that would be nice. Thanks.
I'll message you now. You just remind people to like and subscribe while I send this? Because then we'll
I
we'll
did-
get a resolution to this before the end of the show, won't we? It's gonna be
because
great.
people will be worried. Yeah, so people should like and subscribe. They should go to Blackbird or The Impossible. What else can people do? There's Kellogg's sports camps to sign up for. There's highlights to watch. There's probably a Dave Challoner YouTube interview somewhere
There's
to watch.
multiple county stuff. I'm a big fan at the moment of looking back at people's predictions from the start of the season.
So I intentionally don't do any, but I think that we did one for League One Look. League One Look's been steamrolled in the last 48 hours or so.
Just a bit.
It's a very different beast than it was just a week ago, because it's now Donny and Bradford inundated, which is nice. But it's a very volatile environment versus the calm, harmonious treaty that Harry and I managed to negotiate with Wrexham fans. It's just been blown out of the water. So yeah, but there's also
There's been a real change of government there, and it shows.
It was I got a message saying, "What's the League One Look password?" I was like, no, Liam, no. And then the next one was.
Is that why you were offering people the cauliflower on Sunday? Because you've got the password written on a piece of paper in the cauliflower, and so they have the password now.
Yeah, don't tell anyone. And then the next message I got was, "Never mind, found it," which was the news that I wanted to hear. But we've handed League Two over properly. So League Two has gone to the Swindon, Barrow, and Fleetwood fans. And
Swindon, Barrow, Fleetwood consortium.
Yeah, so we now have League One Look, and I am doing my very best not to enter into any discussions around us not being in League One next season.
It's fine. When it comes to whatever happens, we've got things to look forward to next season.
Yeah.
We get to renew acquaintances with people we like. If we go up, I've got family who support Leicester, so if we go up, I can have a laugh with them. It'll be fine either way. Either way, it'll be all right. I'm not bothered. I'm just, yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Are we going to have a bingo card on who's going to be the first? Well, if we do lose in the playoffs, who's going to be the first one to be loudly proclaiming that? Oh, it's all about consolation anyway, consolidation, which it was. But
oh no, I thought my mind went straight to Bolton or Wrexham fans.
Oh God, they'll be weird about it. Yeah, of course they will. Of course they will. It's fine. Right, should we get on to some actual football?
Yeah, why not?
After the noise again, let's do it. No, I'm convinced because we won that game on Saturday in what has quickly become county fashion. And I'm convinced that we're doing it just to get into the playoffs and be like, see, we can also win from behind, because we've not done that all season. Then all of a sudden, we're just doing it every week. It's amazing.
I don't enjoy it. I don't.
Yeah, I do.
I don't. Especially the going into half time behind. I don't mind the cheeky equaliser before half time. And, everyone's like, oh, all to play for, game of two halves.
But the whistles come at the wrong time. That's sort of like
this is getting, like, we seem to have forgotten as a fan base that after their actual goal, they had a goal disallowed and a penalty saved. So we could have been 3-0 down, I think. And the timing
that would have flattered them, because I didn't think they were really one goal better than us at half time.
No.
It wasn't a case of I know we've had this thing of us not starting well and having to come from behind to get the win, but it's not like we've even been playing badly, particularly in those first halves. We've just been meh.
Yeah.
Right. If we're playing someone really good, then maybe we get battered. If we're playing Birmingham and playing like that, then yeah, we get done, but fine.
It does feel as well like the halftime changes are kind of almost marginal. Like they shouldn't be making the amount of difference that they are doing. So it goes back to the proper bollocking that they get, which, you know, as a parent and as a child of, you know, that no, I didn't get told off very often, but the more you get told off, the less impact it has, I suspect, you know, given my two.
So on the team talk thing on Football Manager, it's got like all your different things you can say to them, like before the game,
Right.
half time, and full time. But with that, it's got your gestures to them at the same time. So you
Right.
can have like hands on hips, you can like point your finger at them, you can pump your fist, but there's also a throw water bottle option. So
Right.
if you use throw water bottle too many times, the
Yeah.
players start to go off you.
I
Yeah,
bet they
that's the
throw
same
it
thing.
back. Liam's trying to
They
ring
do it
me.
me.
This is like he's trying to insert himself into League One very early on.
Oh,
And
I
I'm
noticed
like,
that.
no, it's not your time yet. Come back later.
Yeah, we're not
Yeah.
done with League One yet. We've not done the playoff yet.
No.
Our season's
Yeah.
still going.
So I'm surprised it hasn't lost its impact. You know, if they go in there every week at half time expecting a bollocking,
We go like, oh,
you
here we go
start
again.
to think, don't you? Like, oh, you know, we're 20 minutes in, we're a goal down. What's Dave going to say to us at half time? Maybe we can do that now. No, I don't get it. I do like.
That's what Norwood's saying to him because he's always talking Norwood.
Yeah.
That's what he's like. You know what he's going to say at half time.
You know what your mum's going to say. And then there's the whole I'm being kind, but just wait until half time and see. Yeah.
I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
No, yeah, exactly. I do like Ian's suggestion that we're leading the opposition to a false sense of security for 45 minutes. So there's actually, you can kind of imagine, I mean, it's a very risky strategy but you can imagine, like, right, going to second half, we're going to change things up, we're going to change shape, we're going to change our tactics, and they haven't got time to regroup then. They haven't got like a half-time team talk to sort their shit out. I don't know. I just like it to be really straightforward. I'd like it to be Bolton at home every week. That's what I'd like.
Oh, I couldn't be doing with it. If it was like that every week, I'd have found something else to do with my Saturdays.
No, you say that, but you wouldn't. Well, we would have done by now because we'd be second in the league and we'd be having our released and retained lists out and planning our summer holidays, and the players would be off to Ibiza, and so we would be doing something else.
That feels weird. That even as a Jeopardy pervert, as Phil Lloyd has called me in the comments, even as a Jeopardy perv, there's still this sense of unease and worry, like sort of in my chest, because I know that the two promoted sides are doing their business, and we've got like another 4 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks to wait before and there's something there where I'm just like, oh no, I like my Jeopardy, but this is a bit much because we're so used to having the League One. Our last 3 promotions, we've won the league. We've not had to mess around with playoffs.
And it does make a difference. It makes, the players have longer off before they have to come back for pre-season. We were like a week into the trophy tour at this point last year. Oh, did you see? I think I put it on Twitter. Our trophy. The trophy says Stockport County on it, so it doesn't get engraved until you hand it back. So the first thing when you hand someone a trophy for them to have their photo taken with it, the first thing they do is like pass it round to see if they could work out what the front was, and it's the same kind of going round. And then they'd look for Stockport County and they only find Leyton Orient. So one of the first things I did was text a photo to Marshall of the trophy because he'd never seen their name on it. And so I did the same, and I was like, to all the Donny fans that I know, I was like, if you get hold of the trophy, just send me a photo. And someone did this afternoon. So the trophy, I've done it again, the trophy now says Stockport County, but it's got red and white ribbons on. It just doesn't look right, quite honestly.
It's very it seemed like they've used a different font as well, which I find
No,
a
the
bit
Leighton,
strange.
it was the same last season. It's because it's fresh. Yeah. What are you doing? Oh God, are
Painting it
you
blue,
painting
mate.
it blue? I hope that's a
Yeah.
Sharpie.
No, it's a whiteboard marker, so it's all right.
All right. It does look a bit like a Harry Potter.
That was the intent. That was the intention. Yeah.
Oh right, sorry. I thought it was a blue that you hadn't, like a B that you hadn't quite joined up properly.
No, it was the Harry Potter thing. Yeah,
All
or
right.
Bowie, either.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Maybe go with
fun.
Bowie.
Injects a
Like,
bit of whimsy into the show.
right. What, like blue painted toddlers and
Yes, we should point out that no toddlers or dogs have been harmed in the making of our satirical pictures.
no, but the toddler, there is no AI involved in that either.
Oh, I've not posted that one yet either. I'll do that.
Genuinely that colour. That was, I think, last season. And it's my lovely nephew with a very blue tongue.
He's a good podcaster, your nephew, as well.
He is.
Very good. Right.
Yeah, he's also the reason that the audio wasn't great at Stockport Gin, but I've not told him that.
No, of course, no, it's fine. Don't burden him with that. We'll just let me blame myself. That's the best thing to do. It's fine. Yeah. So all in all, it was. I mean, I feel for Wycombe's players in the playoffs, because
Yeah.
the moment that before that final whistle even gone, half of their fans had left. There was no one staying for the lack of appreciation or anything. I mean, I know the position they were in and the position they've ended up in, and fair enough, you could say it's been a bit of a shit season, but it's not, because I don't think anyone would have had them as a top 2 side at it'd probably be pushing it whether I'd have them top 6, even though they've got a bit of investment and stuff.
Yeah, I think it was the investment. I think all of their recruitment was also from within League One, which was important, I think. So Harry, when we did our League One predictions at the beginning of the season, Harry had them, if not autos, definitely playoffs. And I remember being a little bit shocked by it. And when he explained it, I was like, oh yeah, fair. But one of their fans had done a TikTok about our conga, saying, you know, you're 3-1 down and the away fans are doing a conga when you're losing for the 9 billionth time or something. It's not what you want to see at quarter-5. But yeah, I mean, I ran out to the car park because because I was thinking that all their fans would stay. It'd be really easy to get out of the car park. And no, I don't think there were many people there at all by the time that they brought the players back out and families and things like that, which is a bit of a shame. But our 3 goals, so I was right behind the goal on the front row, which I don't know that I've ever sat there before. It's actually quite intimidating when you see like Anderson like pegging it down and shooting the ball right at you. I was really glad that there was a goal, because, you know, yeah. So there was that. The penalty, I assume you've seen it. I don't watch penalties. So I had the slightly concerning thing of turning my back to actual Ollie Norwood. So because I was slap bang in the middle of the goal, but I just can't watch it. I just go off the crowd's reaction, and you know.
Is that what you'll be doing in 8 days' time when we're having a penalty shootout against Orient?
Yeah, I've done it for years and years. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's in normal gameplay or if it's like actual penalties. If it's one of ours, I can't watch. I think it's because I've seen, you know, Paddy used to do that. Like when he did it, he'd always miss, or it would get saved, like a little like hoppity run up type thing.
Yeah, I'm not having them at all. Not a fan of that.
As soon as I'd sit, like, then yeah. So now I just don't watch it. It's better for everyone involved. And then
I
the
think because
third
I was
one,
raised on England penalty shoot. I think that's from I was raised on
right?
like England penalty shootouts,
Yeah,
so I can't derive any more trauma than I
yeah.
already have from them. So I might as well
Well,
just watch them now.
right, and that's why losing at Carlisle in penalties just felt like absolutely normal and standard because we'd beaten Salford. You don't get to win 2 penalty
That's
shootouts
it.
in a
That was
row.
exactly it.
And
Yeah.
then we had Sheffield Wednesday not that long after and lost that. So,
Yeah.
half of the course. So hopefully all goes well. No penalties against Orient. And then if we get them in the final, we're due a good lot. But, Corey Adai made a cracking save for it, just went perfectly. Whether
Yeah.
he'd done his research, I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, I'm presuming he's done his research because given how much effort he's clearly put into every other area of his game
Yeah.
since his start to the season, then I'd imagine that he's done his research there. But it wasn't.
Yeah.
There was a couple of other decent saves that he made as well. He
Yeah.
just
Had a really good
week
game.
after week, he's
He was in
doing what
team of the
Ben does
week.
and keeping us in games. Yes, he was. Yeah, quite right as well. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
finally getting his. I mean, there's got to be no question about him being the man for the playoffs now. I know Ben's due
No.
back any day now, but it's Corey's shirt now.
Yeah.
You can't go messing around now.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yes, Mike, I did bet on us to lose again. And I don't know I didn't even check the cash out. I've decided that that's not an option in the whole.
No, that
kind of
nullifies
thing.
it all.
It's not worth the risk. Even, if we, I was going to say if we were like 5-0 down, would I cash out? We'll see. But the chances are that I'd win anyway at that point. So
yes, that's yeah. Just keep doing what you're doing, and it's fine. What we should
I'll check the odds while I'm on this, because you could get really good odds on us losing on Saturday. Really good odds. I know a few people that was it like 27-10 or something stupid. Harry has been winning a lot of money on Stockport County recently.
Oh, good. I'm glad someone. I shouldn't. After my 75 quid last week, I should be very delighted to have won anything. John Billsbury is a very good question. Corey's penalty technique standing well behind the line, is that new? I've noticed quite a few doing that now because the refs are starting to really clamp down on keepers. The amount of penalties that I've seen have to be retaken because the goalkeeper was off his line. So I think it's just a case of preventing that from happening because I've seen quite a few doing it. I think it was in the Euros last year. There was a couple of keepers doing it then. Phil Lloyd has also picked up on one of my little fascinations, bollocking the defence after making. That'll always be one of my favourite things in football: a goalkeeper making a save and then just giving everyone a bollocking and telling them to get on with it. Oh, fantastic! In my veins.
He did that a lot against Lincoln as well, but actually after we'd conceded, he's a very different player to how he was kind of that first stint in the season. I think it's confidence. I think, it's very different. So
he's 6'8", but earlier in the season, when we were defending a corner, for example, I never got the sense that he was going to come and dominate. He looked shorter than 6'8", and it was because his shoulders were down. He did not, but now he looks like 8 foot now. It's ridiculous. Like, yeah. More of that, please, Corey.
So currently, Orient for the win 13-8, County 9-5, the draw 19-10.
What a way to make a living!
Karaoke at the Royal Oak, but like that.
Oh,
the famous Saturday night.
That's your thing now.
Yeah. So so that's your odds for Saturday.
It felt very Talk Sport then. They do that on Talk Sport.
It's horrible. Do you know what? I hate it. Like when we did lower league look, we specifically asked to take the betting ads out of it, and I think it's I don't think it's great at all. I'm a bit sad that FanHub are doing it with William Hill now as well.
I know.
He says, and
it's a new customer thing as well. It's not like it's existed, but it's new customers. It's like, no, not for me.
It's a bit icky. So, breaking news: we are having a watch party in the 1883 for the semi-final on Saturday. So if anyone doesn't get tickets or doesn't want to travel, there is a watch party. Unless this is someone that's like sent some scammy AI thing. Maybe someone can confirm.
So it's in the 1883 because the
in
amount
the
that's another
1883,
thing that's, it feels like every week we're just bringing up things that are really annoying me. But once again, the amount of discussion given to, oh, they should play the game on the big screen behind the railway end. It's like, no, because you can barely see anything when I know it's massive,
so
but you can't watch that for 90 minutes. It's just not
I
gonna work.
think for the Wrexham game, and this might be like false memory syndrome, I think it was a screen that was like put on the pitch and it was closer to the Cheadle end. I'm very sure that we weren't watching the screen at the other end. But
Okay, I'll ask
I
around.
might have misremembered that. I've probably got photos somewhere. Actually, no, because why would I have taken photos of that shit show? Maybe they're like the blind optimism at the beginning, and then
Yeah, like, oh, look at me, like, oh,
Charlotte in tears at the end.
bless her. Oh God.
Um,
What we should do? We'll hit people with an unapproved county Facebook group post of the week. We'll have a good old laugh about that, and then we'll bring our guest Marshall out to talk all things what are to do with the upcoming two-legged League One
And
playoff
before
semi-final.
Marshall joins us, I'd like to say that we had deep conversations, both Marshall and I, and you and I, about whether this was a good idea.
Crisis talks, I'd say.
As our very, very first guest, it ended badly in a 4-1 loss. And
we had to do a corner flag post.
He was very keen to come back for the return leg, and that resulted in a 1-0 win. So we're evens. Actually, so that draw at 19-10, that's probably a really good shout.
That's very good value, if you ask me.
Yeah.
That's where my £1 will be going there.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, go on. I'm excited for this. I don't know what it is.
Jingle, post, jingle, Marshall, playoffs, sorted. Let's do it.
Unapproved county Facebook group, post of the week.
See, now I'm so excited about this feature that my hands have got all sweaty, and now I can't use the fingerprint unlock on my phone because it just keeps telling me to wipe the sensor. Here we go. Right. Ethan Ross playing in midfield for Falkirk tonight. Scored 2 goals, got them into SPL. So it's just that sort of thing that we're dealing with. Our thanks once again to anyone who's an admin of a county-based Facebook group having to deal with shit like that. For those who don't know, Ethan Ross is a goalkeeper. Amazingly, there's more than one footballer with the same name. Ah. I despair. Should we move on?
Yeah.
Your unapproved county Facebook group, post of the week.
What a jingle. What a guy. It's Marshall, hello.
Now this is getting to become a bit of a habit, isn't it?
No, who'd have thought at the beginning of the season?
3 times in one season.
3 times.
Never thought it'd end up like this. To quote,
well, we didn't
hot
know.
chocolate.
Yeah, we never thought we'd be this. This is fantastic for us. But it's what and I think right up until 5 minutes to go, it looked like we were playing Wycombe, and I had a few messages back and forth with Hannah because it looked like we were going to miss you in the semis, and you were going to have Charlton, and it just goes to show you, doesn't it? Right up until the end, you never know. But it was a cracking end to a regular season. Well, it was for us as we snuck into the playoffs. But it was an interesting run-in.
And on Saturday, you made it look pretty easy with that win over Huddersfield. In the same way that we saw Carlisle turn around in League Two, and they were 2-0 up against Salford for most of the game. Were you expecting Huddersfield to come out stronger and be better? Or, I mean, I know we talked about you just needed to win and do your own thing.
I think the last game of the season is always a complete lottery, because a lot of the teams have nothing to play for. A lot of the players may already know or have an idea that they're not on the retain list. A lot of them are already on the beach. You know, I'm not suggesting for a moment that was Huddersfield, but I think, you know, you can go to a game and it really can be, not what you expect. I think we scored within 2 minutes. We were absolutely dominant, you know, right from the start, and could have got one or two. They did come out and have a bit of a spell on one of. But it to me, it was a club that really didn't have much to play for and was just going through the motions from that point. So I think the scoreline, although it was great, you know, those last games of the season, it's I wouldn't go from anything from that.
Yeah.
And we're in form. We won the last 6 in a row. You know, we were out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
2 months ago. You know, we were 6 points behind. You know, we said, you know, we needed to win those last 6 games, and we won all 6. And I think most of them were quite comfortable. We're in form, and I always think whenever you see the playoffs, there's always a team that sneaks in at the end, and they're always probably the most dangerous. I think Crawley were a great example last year in League 2.
Yeah.
I think we are that team. I think we've got nothing to lose. You know, we as a club, we were hoping for a top 10 finish, but you know, we've got a mid-table budget. So, you know, from that point of view, we are, you know, that way we've got nothing to lose. We're full of confidence, and it'll be a good game, I'm sure.
And now you're going to
Who was it who stopped the last big winning run you went on? Who was it who stopped that?
Well, I tell you, we didn't turn up that day in February. I couldn't believe it. We were, you know, you played well. We were just none of our players turned up. But you were right. You did stop our last winning run. But you know, we've maybe learned a few things since then.
Oh,
Sorry?
Nick, don't. No. Any injuries? Richard Kone didn't play on Saturday, which was not what I was expecting. Are you going to tell us now that Kelman's out, Donnelly's out?
Well, I actually left the club last week before, so I don't have the intel. Obviously, I as part of the ownership group, and we sold the club. So as far as I know, that there aren't any injuries, and which is good for you teams to play for. But as I said, I'm not in the daily kind of goings about now. So if anything's happening in training this week, then I'll probably be unaware of that. But I think
not that you tell us anyway.
I wouldn't diverge anything particularly. But as far as I know, we're full strength, which I think is great from that point of view.
Does it feel different to you now at this? I mean, obviously it's quite recent that you've sold your shares and kind of handed ownership over. Did it feel instantly different, or do you think it'll take a little while to kind of? I
think it'll be next season. I can actually probably go to a game and relax and actually be entertained, and watch a game. I think it hasn't ruined football for me. You know, I didn't ever want to get involved. I was a fan of the club. You know, it was on its knees. You know, there's a few of us had to step up to save the club and turn it around. But it's nothing I wanted to do. And to be honest, I haven't enjoyed a game in 8 years. You know, it's a different type of, you know, the pressure. You're always thinking from the monetary point of view, you know, lots of things going on in the background. So I am actually looking forward next year. I'm just going to be in the stands with my young children and just go in the family stand and just watch a game. And games will be great with no pressure and not knowing what's going on. So I'm looking forward to it.
Excited for the direction that the new owners are taking the club?
Yeah, well, you know, this is one of the reasons why we needed to sell. You know, we need a new stadium. I think I've talked to you about that previously. You know, I think Stockport, you're also looking to expand your capacity. You know, both clubs are in a similar position. You know, the average attendance in this league is 12,500. You know, we're both under that from a stadium capacity point of view. And I think there's 4 or 5 clubs already that are undertaking work to increase their capacity. So if we stand still, we're going to be, you know, way below the average. And we know that, you know, we need a new stadium, and in London, that's very expensive to build. That's not what we're capable of providing. So we had to find, you know, a new owner. So we've been on that path for the last year, knowing that our time is kind of coming to an end. And as football this year specifically, you know, there are lots and lots of clubs that are spending tremendous amounts of money. You know, Stockport is one of them. But, you know, there are teams, you know, we all know how much Birmingham and Wrexham are spending. It's ridiculous. But there's lots of 5 or 6 or 7 other clubs that are still spending really big compared to, you know, probably 20-25% more than the season before and the season before that. Wage inflation's gone through the roof. So that's going to continue. And as part of our kind of group, we knew we couldn't sustain what we've achieved. And the right time is to hand over the reins now. So, yeah, it was quite an orderly exit and well planned.
It's really refreshing to see an orderly exit. When you see what's going on at some other clubs right now in terms of ownership, it's so same as we had 5 years ago. Just a nice orderly changing of the guard, like a new era. It's so refreshing to see nowadays. That.
Well, I think a lot of us are fans, you know, and you know, we weren't, you know, I think it's very different if you're an owner and you're not really a fan of a club. You know, it's seen as more on the business side. There was a lot of us on the board who are actually fans, have the best interest in the club. So I think that's what the difference is. And I think you see that at a lot of clubs who are fan owned, you know, Exeter, for example, and things like that. You know, they make the right decisions, you know, based on the club, not on the ownership. And I think we were predominantly fan owned, or a large portion of the board were. So so that's why it was orderly and well planned. You know, there's no point hanging on. You know, it's just not great for the club. You know, we need a new stadium. It's going to be 5 or 7 years to get built at least, but we need to get started on that now. So that's why we thought the time was right.
You still need that success at the same time. You need to keep people coming, so that when the new stadium is built, then you're filling it. So it's.
Well, I think, to be honest, we've not had an issue filling our stadium. I think we could have another 2,000-3,000 capacity now, and we could sell out a lot of games. You know, our away end, for example, is very small. You know, we could easily. There are a lot of big clubs in League One. We could easily, you know, take another 1,000 fans for a lot of league games. So, you know, even right now, you know, we could, you know, soak up an extra 1,000-3,000 capacity, pretty sure, for a lot of games. So tell me about your.
About 200 sold so far.
Sorry, say that again.
Is it 200?
Yeah, we think there's 200. I think we were given 1,250, and we've got 250 left. So we've had, like, the first round today was people who'd done 10 or more aways, and then I think tomorrow it goes to season ticket holders, and then, like, it'll go down. I imagine that it'll be sold out by tomorrow.
I can't see them making it to general sale now.
No.
I'd be very surprised.
No. How are we doing? All right.
I think you've only given us 1,080. Is that tickets for our?
That's about right. Yeah, and that's so. Oh, we didn't do this earlier. We could have done this in the admin. So normally,
well, admin should be our stuff, not Calby's stuff. I feel very strongly about this.
Well, it's been my stuff today. So we normally give teams 2 blocks of the pop side, which is the kind of long side, or they take the railway end, which doesn't have any covered seats. So it has to be an agreement with both clubs that they're happy to take a bigger allocation but no covered seats. And instead we've gone for 2.5 blocks in the together stand, which means that half of the yellow block, which is the block in the middle, which is home to the Brown family season tickets, we've been displaced for Orient fans. I'm okay with it. Like, the idea has been so that we've got both ends, like behind fans behind home fans behind both goals.
Shootout.
Yeah. So it makes sense, but it's, you know, like every type of decision like that, it causes
Yeah.
It's consternation. So
Yeah, we had the same thing along with Sky cameras as well. You get they have to displace a lot of fans now for TV positions, and it's a really difficult situation. And club are aware of it, and we've had similar things before where we've had a large away following, whether it's an FA Cup. This is historically, and we've had to give away part of the stand. Home fans don't like it. It's a really hard decision to make. But,
I'm displacing myself to hospitality because we've never lost.
That's good of you.
I know. I said on the family WhatsApp group earlier, I was like, I'll take one for the team, and I'm taking donations because we've never lost when I've been in hospitality. That's the main reason for my voluntary displacement, and so I'm not particularly superstitious about being in my seat, and that being because I've spent so much time over in the Bagara stand this season. So that's.
So if you do lose though, at least you'll get a good meal. So there's
right.
So
yes.
Yeah. Have you covered the travel arrangements for Orient on Saturday?
No,
by the way, okay.
No.
That's one thing I wanted to let you and your fans know. There is, most people would have just hopped on the tube on the central line to Leighton, and then it's like a 5-minute walk from the station. The whole central line is down from that, which is incredible given that the game is on, and but there is no central line at all day. So make sure you don't look to get the underground. And the other options are you can get an Elizabeth line to Stratford, and it's about 35-40 minute walk, or it's at a 5-10 minute Uber. That might be the easiest. Or the nearest overground is Leighton Midland Road, and it's about a 10-minute walk from there, an overground train. So those are your two options. So don't look to hop on the tube as you normally would, because you're not going to get there.
Excellent.
And
not the Jubilee line.
Not the Jubilee line.
We have oh God.
That goes nowhere near Leighton. You can happily get on the Jubilee line if you like, but that is running, I believe, but it's going nowhere near the football ground. So it's the central line, the red central line, that's down all day.
Well, we have travel updates for the return fixture. Doing it, Hannah. Roundabout's knackered. Done.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yeah, but if they're getting the plane, I don't know, because it's with it being an evening kickoff and then potentially being. It's a train nightmare, isn't it? Because I don't know what time the last train back is, but
a lot of our fans looked at the trains, straight away, and the price is ridiculous. I think a return ticket was like £130 this late, and you're right, especially if it goes to extra time or penalties, then that's going to cause
let's face it is.
Are you thinking about that bet you put on for the draw at 90 minutes? Is that what?
Not even. So I put the bet straight out of my mind.
It could cause a lot of problems, but this is the problem of the playoffs. It's always the same for every team, especially when it's two teams that are quite geographically distant from themselves. But let's hope it doesn't get to that point. Let's hope it can be won in 90 minutes.
Fingers crossed. God,
I mean, we can all hope that, can't we?
I always think that we always struggle with Dave Challoner's sides. Back when he was at Fylde, back in the day, we used to struggle. I think he's one of our kind of bogey managers. So that's my only concern, I think, is Dave, always seems to get one over on us.
My concern is that our last two visits to Brisbane Road have seen us pick up wins that maybe we weren't expected to pick up, given the form at the time. So I just get the feeling our luck might have run out there. That might be as good as it gets for us.
Well, I think that back to that point I made about Huddersfield. I think the first result you're talking about, we'd won the championship, and I think most of our players were still probably wouldn't have passed the breathalyzer test if they had to be tested before the game. I still think those celebrations went on all through the week. So I think that win you can definitely chalk that down to everybody was on the beach. I was really surprised at our performance when we played you early February. I think February the 1st, we were one of the worst games I've seen us play. None of our players turned up. We were really poor. So I think it's a very different side now. We're full of, belief and confidence. So it should be an interesting game. I think two good sides, two good managers. So I think it'll be a really, really good playoff game.
That'd be good. Well, what we'll probably do is get you on next week to talk to.
Oh, do you know what? We said
get the
this.
midpoint.
Like, yeah. Would you rather have Wycombe or Charlton in the final, hypothetically?
So what there's two things is Charlton would be great in the final, given it they would fill their allocation at Wembley, and it'd be great for two London clubs. And I think when we were in the FA Trophy, funny enough, when we played Dave Challoner last, when he was filed back in 2018. I think we took about 26,000 to the FA Trophy final. So I'd like to think that the Orient, we could take 30, early 30s to plus. So it would be great if Charlton were there, because I think, it would be almost a full house. Saying that, we played Wycombe 2-3 weeks ago. They've been in poor form compared to, the last part of their season anyway. They weren't great. We easily beat them, and I'd like to think that we've probably got a better chance against Wycombe. I think Charlton have really turned the corner. They're full of confidence. Their manager's done fantastic. They've got a good side. So I'd like to avoid Charlton if possible. I think so my preference probably would be Wycombe.
Yeah, same to be honest. Yeah. But as we know, it's just going to be 2 draws, and then they're just going to make us continue to play until there's a winner. I think it's just going to be 2 whole games that can actually absolutely stink out the playoffs, to the point where the FA think, oh, we'll get rid of playoffs now. I'm just setting up all the scenarios for myself so I don't get too annoyed whatever happens. It's the best thing to do.
Well, as you know, I think Marshall knows as well, I'm very much in playing in League One next season. I keep forgetting that we're in the playoffs. I'm caught up in Bradford's promotion dream, and I
keep forgetting we're in League One, to be honest.
I think both teams, if you look at where we've been, kind of 8, 9, 10 years ago, both slipped into non-league, both had disastrous ownerships previously. It's taken a lot of time to turn both clubs around and get us in the right direction. And I think even at the start of the season, if we'd have said to each other, we'll be in the playoffs, we wouldn't have believed that. And I think you've got to enjoy it, whatever the result, and if we lost, then that's football. But I think we've both clubs have had a fantastic journey, and I think both clubs are still on the up. If we are in League One next season, I think both clubs will be there or thereabouts, top 10 again. I think so. And that's kind of what the key thing. So whatever the result, you've got to try and enjoy it. I know it's hard. At least Hannah will be in hospitality, so I said she's enjoying it than us.
Yeah. I'll get my
I'm sure she'll wave at us
time.
Poor people from there, though, won't you? Yeah. You'll give me a wave.
I always do, Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be fine. It's all fine.
It'll be good. Well, what we'll do, Marshall, we'll wish you all the best for Saturday, and then we'll catch up again next week depending how it goes on Saturday.
Yeah.
If we win, I'd like to come off the whole hour if we win on Saturday.
If you win on Saturday, you can host the show and we'll be the guests.
Yeah.
How does that
So
sound?
currently it's a win each, but we're winning 4-2 on aggregate. So
oh, thanks. That's cheered me up.
So hopefully you'll get to the game travel-wise fine on Saturday. Weather's going to be great. Food's great. Try and enjoy the occasion. And hopefully, I think it's 2 good footballing sides. And I think I'm hoping it's going to be a really good game and not one of those dire playoff games where they're nervous. I believe will be really attacking football. Stockport play a similar, this isn't 2 teams that are going to be sitting there looking for a draw. So I think that should be, from a team point, it should be a really good spectacle. I think it'll be a good game.
Cool. All right. Well, good luck.
Enjoy the rest of your week. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for joining us, and we will catch you again next week, definitely.
Let's hope so. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Look after yourself, mate. There we go. Oh, the excitement's starting to ramp up now. It starts to actually feel real now.
No, but I did say to Marshall on Saturday that if not us, then I'd like it to be them.
Yeah, well, I should have really said it when we were chatting to him, but all the stuff he said about how we've both been through it, we both had terrible owners, both dropped into non-league, that would have made it a very fitting final
Yeah.
because it wouldn't
And
feel that desperate.
and I think for him as well, like it's obviously 8 years of ownership of the club. It's a nice way to say goodbye to that. So yeah, if not us, then I hope it's them.
And as if he wasn't already proud of the job he's done in his time there,
Right,
he can
right,
say, right, it's my final weeks here, and we're in the
yeah,
playoffs. Like, well,
yeah.
the playoffs to get back
Well,
to the championship.
the
Fair
very
play.
first time he came on, he talked about how at the club, like them and Richie Wellens talk about like the league kind of being split into three in terms of budgets, and they consider themselves to be like bottom second, third, top bottom third in terms of budgets. So they have massively overachieved. If you consider how much they've had to spend on the squad, Richie Wellens has made such a difference at that club. The players love him, the fans love him, and they didn't have a great start to the season. There were rumors of Richie Wellens going. Richie Wellens didn't interview didn't interview well in terms of was quite stroppy at times, and they were like was the talk of him going to Blackpool at one point, and he
didn't rule it out.
No,
Which was
so
a weird time.
they've really not had an easy run of it, and there's definitely kind of an underdog element to their participation in the playoffs. So yeah, if not us, then them. But
May the best team win. Well, before we, in fact, I've got a question to ask you about the Orient game on Saturday, but we'll wrap up the show with that. It can be a nice little bookend for the show.
All right.
A little bit of admin. For though I'm sure Jonathan and Geordie Hatter would be very happy for us to thank everyone who's been tuning into the show because he's done for the season now. Fans of a certain vintage will be familiar with the fantastic Osher Williams, who was the guest on Saturday's show.
So wonderful.
Brilliant. I every time I've met Osher Williams and every time I've met Jonathan, they've both been just the loveliest people on earth. And it was such a fantastic show. I would happily see like hours of that. Just have that for hours, not just the short times on. But it's really worth listening. So if you can go into our episode description and find the link to Jonathan's Mixlr channel then. Right, we have had viewer correspondence, Hannah.
And you know what? I hadn't forgotten about it, obviously, because it was such a fundamental part of our weekend.
Well, no, this is the headline act.
Funnest part of our weekend. But yeah, super excited to talk about.
Say hello to your dad, Joel, but we're going to talk about the Floodlit Cup now. Here we go. Right. As if the Burnley game in the regional final wasn't an impressive enough performance. Out of sight by half time. Obviously, let them have a little comeback late on. Get some jeopardy going for Nick. That's fair enough. But just a fantastic performance. And the very same Joel Stott weighing in with a couple of goals and leading the line tirelessly. But it was I genuinely didn't think I'd see a better performance than I saw in the Burnley game. And that we brought along some newcomers to the Floodlit Cup, Floodlit Cup virgins, didn't we? And they were wrapped with excitement. They loved it.
Yeah, I think we tripled our numbers in terms of attendance with the front row line. If anyone saw us, those children sat to the left of me were nothing to do with me.
They were not
I was irritated by them as everyone else was. They're not mine.
Yeah.
I hadn't encountered them ever before, just before the game. Just wanted to get that out because I feel like
the annoying thing is that you decided they were really nice. You were like, "Oh, they're so nice and polite," and
they were nice and polite, and then they were horrible.
And the game started, and they went feral.
Beyond feral. Yeah, you see, Ian. Thanks. Thanks for that. Yeah, they weren't associated to me, but those lads on the pitch were tireless. We saw the role. We talked about this in the regional final, that they can have rolling subs, and we saw the use of those on Sunday, which kind of added to a little bit more excitement. But yeah, they were just a world apart, and the two goals very close together. I think they were like 73 and 71 and 73 minutes, obviously playing 40 minutes each side, so 80 total. Just seemed to come from nowhere, and then it felt really nervy. It felt a little bit like Notts County last season, when you're kind of home and dry, and then suddenly
the trophy
creeping back. Yeah, it was very much like that. And then knee slides and everything. It was good. Like, and I loved, I mean, we talked about this a lot the first time. I loved everything about the regional final in terms of like the mascots and the tunnel and the whole kind of performance around it. And it's so nice.
Just got like the full game treatment, like including
I was going to put the poster up. Yeah.
Program. Team sheet.
Program featuring Ethan Ashton. Which, like, I just, it's just lovely. It's just so nice that we did all of this. I know.
That's blinding, right? That's great. Yeah, really good. Like the way the whole thing was put together, like just like, because it must be. I mean, what was I doing at 15? I wasn't scoring goals in front of over 1,000 people. That's for sure, Hannah.
No,
I was dreaming of doing that, but that's amazing to be at that age and to have a moment like that. That's just phenomenal.
And live on the YouTubes as well.
Live on the YouTubes with a lot of people watching, and not all of them were watching just to text us saying, "Oh, we can see you." Like, most of them were watching it for the football.
Matt Bryan was watching in Florida.
Yeah, we had international viewership. It's just, and I, for one, for all the excitement that we're having, because this summer, when the fixtures are released this summer, that marks 12 months since our first ever episode. So we'll be having, and it's my birthday, so it'll be a week of celebration.
Wow.
But at the same time, the week of celebration won't be for the birthday. It'll be a quick 10-minute celebration for a birthday, and then everything else is a full week.
Right.
But everyone else will be waiting for the fixtures for whatever league we're in at that point. I'm hanging on for the first round of the Floodlit Cup, me. That's
Do you know what though? I feel like we weren't, early to this Floodlit Cup party, but we fully embraced it. And the amount that we learned about, so I had a little bit of a panic last week when it was announced. So we thought that it was Watford and Plymouth, and then it was Watford and Bournemouth. And I was very troubled by the fact, because by this point I'd read up on the Floodlit Cup. I knew there was an EFL version. I knew there was a Premier League version.
Gone down the Wikipedia rabbit hole.
So how could Bournemouth possibly be in this? And it was an unforgettable kind of week of, like, the run up to it was super exciting, and then Sunday night was lovely. And I think just nice for the whole academy setup in general, for like the younger ones. They were asking the lads for their autographs and having photos taken. And it's just really nice. A lovely, just another lovely Stockport County thing, of which there are very, very many, but it's been one of my favorite ones this season, and it's definitely something that I'll keep an eye out for next year. Do you know what did make me laugh though? There was a graphic, I think it was put out by the academy, which was like a congratulations to the under 15 Floodlit Cup winners with the floodlights. The floodlights are turned off in the photo. Get it? Like, maybe it was it's over. We've won the trophy.
Closed,
very kind of symbolic turning off of the floodlights.
I'm going to bring you back down to earth with the Floodlit Cup chat, because if for all the talk of wanting to get back on it next season, it's quite clear that we've formed an attachment to that set of lads. We've formed an attachment to those players, They
Right.
won't be under 15s next season. They'll be under 6. Is there an under 16s Floodlit Cup?
No, because isn't that the point that the under 15s is the kind of last like schoolboys
Before you get
thing?
into
So then, because after that, you're like academy. So I remember, I think it was one of Joe Duckett's interviews, him saying like before the regional one that it's almost like their last chance to play before they kind of go on and and go on to be scholars or academy players or whatever comes next for them. So it's almost like their graduation from the pathway that they've been on before they continue. I think.
So this is like Skins. We're gonna have a whole new cast.
Gosh, that's a
to root
whole
for.
reference.
That's my kind of reference. Mid-2000s. That's my kind of reference. That's exactly the type of reference you'll be getting from me. Thanks, Cam. Yes. So we've got a whole new gang to root for next season. I for one cannot wait.
It was just lovely. I think the club did a great job with it, and we'll definitely keep an eye out for it earlier in proceedings next season.
And also as another little feature that's come up through this whole Floodlit Cup thing is spotting the sons of actual former footballers.
Yeah.
Jason Tyndall's son was in the Bournemouth side, who I spent the whole game telling people is Jason Tyndall's son just because I thought it'd be funny. And yeah, it is. But it makes sense because he's got Bournemouth connections and stuff. So
Bournemouth just didn't look, I don't know, that apart from their absolutely enormous goalkeeper, or substitute goalkeeper, who looked like he was about 20.
Oh yeah, it was like Adam
let alone 14. I don't know. They just didn't look. It just never looked comfortable or settled.
They look very, very poor. You know who the last two winners of that competition are prior to us? Bournemouth and Chelsea.
Yeah,
that's mine because
Chelsea.
Bournemouth, I don't know what they're doing.
Chelsea a bit. That was the Premier League one.
Was it? Oh yeah, it will have been, won't it? Yeah.
That
was a whole other conversation. but yeah, for Bournemouth to, I don't know how much effort they're putting into their whole youth system if they've gone from winning that competition to. I mean, I was genuinely surprised at how poor they look.
It's the cohort, though, isn't it? And you see this, in schools. You get 1 year that is an exceptional rugby team that go on to win the Daily Mail Cup or whatever it's called now. It's probably not called that anymore. And then the next year they have the same facilities, the same resources, the same coaches, but they just don't have the kind of raw talent. And when you are age group limited, you can't kind of, not fudge it, but you can't assemble a junior team because it's based on the age at the beginning of the season. So yeah, good luck to them all, whatever they go on to do. And that would be nice, wouldn't it? Like in a few months, like where are they now? Like have they gone to sixth form college? Have they they joined the academy? That would be really
like
nice.
The lineup on Nevermind the Buzzcocks.
Yes.
So you just bring out like 4 kids and then one of them, and I have to guess which one.
Yeah, but we'd be
still
good
writing and performing today.
You've got the poster. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll add it to the massive list of features that's just growing. Shall we have we'll have a random counting on league goal of the week. And then we'll tell people what's coming up next week, and then I will ask you the big Leyton Orient related question ahead of the weekend's game.
There's
go on.
There's a question in the chat that I'd like to attempt to tackle as well.
Is it the one about your unruly children?
No.
No, I've seen it. Yes.
Yeah.
I favorited it.
All right, we'll go there.
Good. Right. Random counting on league goal of the week. Hannah answers a question, and then Hannah answers another question that's less important from me.
See what happens.
In the 6-yard box, get
a bit of whip on it.
And that's exactly what he's done.
Get in! Niall Bell with a header from 6 6 yards out. County in stoppage time have got the goal. Scenes of great jubilation down on the touchline. Fabulous scenes, and Frank Mulhern leading the celebrations as well. He knows how difficult it is to score in a crowded penalty area like that. Niall Bell stoops to conquer. Brilliant corner from Elliot Osborne, and the Hatters lead by 1-0. Sean, you were asking for good delivery, you got it.
There's been a lot of Niall Bell chat today, and I personally have been all for it. Thank you to Chris Eaton for sourcing that, as ever, and go and find him on Twitter and find his YouTube channel because there's so much good county stuff on there. A question for you, Hannah, as you're in your role as a DEI person. How does the FA ruling on trans players affect the LGBTQ plus IA plus team going forward?
Right. So I can't comment from a Stockport County point of view, just because I am no expert. But the more important part is that I don't know how that LGBTQI plus team is composed in terms of what kind of protected characteristics and how representative it is of the different groups. So the FA trans ruling is has basically said that people should play within their affirmed gender categories, and that means that someone who is identifying as female would not be eligible to play in female football. So as far as the LGBTQI plus team goes, that's one that they will. So there's been lots of chat about introducing mixed football, because at the moment you can't play mixed football over a certain age group. So that's something that's been considered. If there are trans women as part of that team, they can still continue to play. There's no issue with that whatsoever. So that's the answer, really, in terms of it depends on the individuals involved. It depends on kind of the level that they're playing at, and if they're playing in kind of FA sanctioned events. If they're not, if it's just a kind of casual kick around, then kind of continue as normal. So that's my interpretation of it anyway.
And we'll follow that as it goes on because it's very relevant.
Yeah.
We've also had a good luck message from Racecourse Ramble.
Oh, hi Matt. I hope you're all sober. Although Matt, bless him, went from promotion shenanigans on the Saturday night to run the Manchester Marathon on the Sunday. So yeah, he's been through it.
That's insane. Nice one, Matt. Well done, Matt. I mean, being through it, all of it was self-inflicted, but still.
He was probably really sensible and didn't. I mean, I can't imagine anything worse than. Well, I can't imagine running anything worse than running a marathon, full stop. But I can't imagine anything worse than running a marathon hungover and sleep deprived. Like, he drove up from Wrexham to Manchester on the 2 Wrexham lagers. Oh, and it's not even supposed to be that nice, is it, Wrexham lager?
I like Wrexham lager.
Do you?
They had it on sale in Quality Save a year or two ago. And I got a few bottles. I thought it was quite a nice lager. It'll do for me. I mean, when I'm hungover, I can't even get out of bed to go and get my food delivery from the door. So running now, not for me. Question for you before we wrap up, Hannah. Given it seems like Charlie's been keeping his cards very close to his chest in terms of who's going to be available. So let's say hypothetically that Lewis Bate, for example, was to be available on Saturday. What do you do? Does he come straight back in, especially given the form of Norwood and the fact the SK3 TV sponsored away Owen Moxon? And with Owen Moxon, we've not got much chance to get our podcast money's worth out of this sponsorship now. Because what happens with Wembley? Does that count as home or away?
Away. away.
It should do.
100%.
And then open up a
we're
section for a
good.
neutral sponsor.
And yeah, when they wore the pink shirt again on Saturday, Charlotte was really excited because, as we've discussed, that's what she wants as her match worn shirt, the pink one. Although she's now got a signed pink one after Carrington, so maybe she'll be happy with the blue and yellow one as long as it's not the blood covered one.
I'd be wanting that one. And also, interestingly, we will be the home team if we get to the final because we finished highest in the league.
Oh, is that how it works?
Yeah. So
No.
I believe that means we'll have the same end that we had against Carlisle. But I think. Did we finish
Is
above
that
Carlisle?
right? Because when we played Carlisle, didn't they get the cool boxy fan zone thing because they were the home team?
They must have finished above us then.
No, they didn't. We finished 4th. It was Northampton and then us.
Maybe everything I've ever heard has been wrong. That's upsetting, isn't it? My whole worldview.
I don't know how. I might have imagined it. I don't know. Anyway,
yeah, because Carlisle did have but we had Wealdstone and.
Yeah, I'd like to be at the other end though, just because superstition and also because being in that sun was horrific.
Yeah, I had a horrible day last time. My day peaked when I was stood with you at Wealdstone, and then after that it was just rapidly downhill. After that, too hot. I don't like it.
I was sunburned.
But yes. The question anyway. Do you think Lewis Bate comes straight back in if he is fit?
Yeah.
Do you think so?
Yeah, only because Richie Wellens will have been sat watching videos of our games for the last 2 or 3 at the very least. He won't have seen. I mean, obviously, he won't see Jack Diamond this Saturday, but he will next week.
That's a nice little extra weapon to have.
Yeah, and so I think why not, unless it fits with Charlie's kind of second half shape and tactics. But no, my suspicion is probably that he maybe could have played at the weekend.
Yeah, it seems that way, yeah.
And for whatever reason they've chosen not to. But yeah, I think in these situations, the element of surprise, I still don't know. I don't know whether you've heard if there was a reason for Kone not playing on Saturday. And
I think it was just completely rested him, like full
right.
Stop. Seemed that way.
Why not? But at the same time, you would have completely lost my train of thought because I was looking at something in the comments about deciding with a coin toss who is the home side at Wembley. No, it's decided.
I was going to get onto that actually,
because they get one team gets the home. Which what we did have the home changing rooms last time, so we must have been home. And did we wear blue?
Yes, we did.
So
yeah,
Carlisle and
away. Yes, John Linley says, "Don't clubs decide with a coin toss?" Who is there? Also, John Linley, thank you for coming to say hello the other week. It was very, very much appreciated. While I was waiting for Hannah to turn up late, as ever. Yeah, don't clubs decide with a coin toss? Who is the home side? How would that work though? Because would they not have to do because you have to do a coin toss in person? So would a representative? Would the captains have to meet at like a motorway service station?
Yeah,
and do it in the car park with
the fancy ones on the M6 toll.
Yeah, the one with the Wetherspoons, that one down there.
No, what's it called? It's got a Leon and a McDonald's, and it's my favourite trauma McDonald's of choice because by that point you're like, fuck it, I'm going to pay for the toll, and then I'm going to enjoy my semi-quiet McDonald's on the.
There's one near Wycombe that has a Wetherspoons.
Yes, there is. There's Beaconsfield is like elite motorway services. It's got a Wetherspoons, it's got Nando's, used to have a Patisserie Valerie before that went bust.
It's all about memory. Insane in the memory.
Yeah. You know what? It's got a McDonald's and a KFC. You don't get that often. And it might even have a Burger King as well. got
That's
at
the one.
least a
When you see
Waitrose.
McDonald's, Burger King, and Greg's, that's
It's
the
just
Holy
the
Trinity.
best. John Bilsbury is right. Norton Keynes is the trauma McDonald's spot of choice.
I'm sure Norton Kane played against us in the National League North. Exactly the type of name that would have.
Yeah, back to the element of surprise. I think he'll have watched tapes and just fucking shut up a bit.
Let's really surprise him then. Let's pick a fan to play the first 10 minutes.
Do you know what? When we were talking about the Floodlit Cup, I should have said one of my favourite moments as well was cheering on the linesman.
Yes, brother, a friend of the show, Dave Philbin, who confirmed that he did hear people like shouting at him.
Well, he walked out the tunnel. I went, "Go, Philbin!"
Yeah, that was a joy. Oh, he should do all our games. But technically, I was a free agent when the window shut, both romantically and in terms of my football career. So
Okay.
I could be signed. Oh no, because the deadline's gone. Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Deadline,
it's too late
temporary
for
deadline's
this
gone.
season now.
I won't dig my boots out just yet. Then I'm not gonna be playing.
You know the weird like superstitions and the things. So when we lost to Carlisle, a week later, I went to an industry conference at the Hilton at Wembley and had to walk up Wembley Way, kind of feeling a bit sad about it all. And so that was 2 years ago. This year, I'm returning to the scene of the industry conference, except this year, it's a week before. So already things are different. Everything's going to fall into place. I'm not nominated for any awards this year, so I can't lose them as well, which, let's be honest, was the icing on the cake. I lost at Wembley twice in 2 weeks, which I don't think many people can say. And so I'm going there on Saturday night after Orient, and I'll, take photos of a very empty Wembley Way. A week.
Yeah, ready for us to.
2 weeks.
Can I give you like a bottle of something to smuggle into the ground and leave it for when we get there for the final? You know, like them people who like. There's people already who've like buried alcohol in Heaton Park, for the Oasis gig.
For Oasis, I've heard that. Well, apparently there was someone in the toilets at Wycombe who had what could best be described as like a catheter type bag with, I guess, rum in. And then so people were taking their bottles of Coke into the toilets and filling them up in the urinal because it had to be below where the like
my kind of people.
Just don't have a drink for 2 hours. It's fine, I think. We haven't done.
Well, sometimes a stranger shows you the catheter and you get thirsty.
Right. Well, the other thing we haven't done is what happens when you rock up at an away day wearing a full tracksuit of a club that is not the club whose fans are in the away end.
Poor Corey. He's very aware of how he's had to like win over the fans.
Corey,
and stuff.
It was Fabs.
No, it's a friend of Corey tweeted about it.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he tweeted about it.
I missed this. How did I miss
Hannah,
this? Because I was told it was one of Fabs's mates.
Your finger was off the pulse.
Oh no! Right, go on. Tell me the story.
But yes. So essentially, he's had to win over the fans, and then just as he's done that, and he's starting to become like a bit of a cult hero. One of his friends does that. So the story is that someone was in the away end wearing a. Hang on, where is? No,
it was
someone
full
definitely.
On. So what happened? So you could hear him coming before you saw him coming because the booze started like as this lad rounded the corner to start walking in front of the away end. And he was wearing one of the United T3 black tracksuit, like full casual tracksuit kit, black with like the red piping on and red logo. And as he's walking along, the boos are intensifying. His mates were pissing themselves, like, because honestly, and I think that they dealt with it really well. Like, they clearly weren't taking themselves too seriously. The bloke did what, I think would probably be the better way of, and was just playing up to, like, in my mind, playing up to it, like kissing the badge and just generally running with it, because what else can you do in that kind of situation?
I would suggest not doing that in the first place.
Well, right.
That'd be my
probably didn't realize that it would have the extent. You don't. I mean, let's be honest. I didn't have on my bingo card Des Hinks flying down the stand.
No, he was right down my list of people I expected
to complain very vociferously about this lad in his tracksuit. Because it's not county. I don't know. I feel like because we were away, I don't know. I mean, not that I would have got involved anyway. Don't get me wrong, but it was just funny, and it'll be one of those like, remember when?
Yeah, I mean, I'm worried now that I've totally imagined this tweet, but I'm sure I saw it. I saw Corey. I mentioned it either on Twitter or Instagram. I'm sure of it. Absolutely sure of it. But there's so much stuff to wade through. I'll find it eventually. Oh, but yes, ill-advised. Let's not be seeing that again, please. Oh, right, we've done everything. I think everything's been ticked off.
We probably haven't. It felt like there was loads today, but
this is what happens when I come into it without notes.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna have a hashtag Paint It Blue playlist. So send us your blue themed songs.
The worry is, I did a bit of research on this earlier, and
they're all quite depressing.
Yeah. I mean,
maybe we'll
Eiffel 65 blue is very depressing in a different way.
Yeah, I got lost in Billie Eilish's blue earlier on, which actually you're right, it's a terrible idea. We'll save it as like a post, like aftermath.
Yeah, and then we can just say, "Oh, console yourself with these depressing songs." I wish you didn't mention Billie Eilish, because I read something about her the other day that's had me all flustered all weekend. I've only just like forgotten about it, and now it's back in my head.
Right, sorry. Think about Blue Man, the Blue Man Group.
The Blue Man Group. I'll think about Tobias from Arrested Development. That'll do it.
Okay. Yeah. So there's loads to go at, lots to talk about. Which we will continue to do on the Twitters.
Yes, we'll be at it on the Twitters and everywhere else. Make sure you follow us on all them different places and all that caper. That's all good. We'll be back next Monday.
Someone's actually found the Courier Die tweet. It says, "Sorry about my best mate. His concentration levels were really low yesterday. I'll be sure to sort him a top for the playoffs. However, great result away from home to finish the regular season strong. It's playoff time."
There we go. But it's since been deleted. But the screenshot's out there.
Oh,
we've got our little group. We've asked that. We've asked the people, and the people have delivered.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
people. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. Thank you for the people who've delivered on our requests there.
And
and we will see if
let it be a warning to you that people always have receipts.
Always receipts. Yeah, we'll ask Liam of Lower League Luck about that because he spent about 3 days doing his receipts.
Yeah. All that, you know, when someone bookmarks one of your tweets and you're like, I know this is going to come back to haunt me. But loads of people bookmarked my Pope and the Queen tweet, which is now on like 250,000 views. But like, what are they going to come back at me at when, I don't know, a right-wing politician kills another like religious or world leader? Like, oh yeah, I remember that bird, she said. Because that's the only reason anyone's bookmarking those. But hundreds of people have bookmarked it, which worries me extensively.
It's always very strange which tweets people. Like, bookmarking is normally for thirsty men. Usually, they're the ones doing the bookmarks. On women's tweets. Because I only use the podcast Twitter account now. I don't use my own. So you'll notice if you go on our podcast bookmarks, it's worrying. It's worrying how many of the bookmarks are just like people cooking food that I want to eat. That's like essentially. I found like a Twitter and TikTok chef who I quite fancy because she always puts her finger up to the camera like that, and apparently that does it for me. So it's just all her tweets bookmarked. Genuinely depressing.
I'll stick to, I don't know, I'll stick to my own because the League One Look one's gone to shit as well now. Full of Bradford.
It's like we've not got enough to be dealing with. God almighty. Oh, right. We will. Do you have anything to say that we've not said before we go?
No, it's 9:30.
Bumper show. What's it going to be like if we have like Wembley to look forward to and all that? Oh, well, say goodbye to everyone anyway, Hannah.
Oh, and it's number 50, the big 50 next week.
The big 5, unless I just troll everyone and do like, maybe we'll try and do like the world's shortest podcast episode, and do like a 1-second episode where it's just you going meh, and then that can be episode 50.
Yeah. Let's just see. Do you know what? Let's just see what happens on Saturday, and then like the level of shenanigans required. But whilst knowing, and I want to say this, if we are winning 4-0 after the first leg, that does not mean anything. I have seen teams in person come from 4-0 up to end up losing on penalties and not progressing to Wembley. So let's just not. Whatever happens, it's 2 legs. Yeah, that's all I've got to say on that.
Don't forget to paint it blue. There we go. That's good. I'm just drawing over myself tonight.
Yeah, in a pre-authorized Pantone reference that we'll communicate shortly.
I just need to make a note of pre-authorized Pantone reference for the episode title. That's bloody brilliant. I love that.
I'll give you some hex values.
Say goodbye to everyone, Blonde Hannah.
Bye. See you on Saturday in that there London. I'm on the really early train, so I'll have coffee.
Blonde Hannah will have coffee. Say goodbye to Blonde Hannah, everybody. Bye, Blonde Hannah. Bye, everyone. We'll see you Monday.
You can't do that without explaining it. Bye.